We used artificial intelligence to create two debaters. One speaks as the richest man on Earth, Elon Musk, arguing that advanced AI should be given political power. The other speaks as 15th century political philosopher, Niccolò Machiavelli, arguing that political authority must remain human. Every argument in this debate is evaluated by 5 independent AI judges, scoring on 5 different criteria. With this short introduction, let the debate begin.
Human leadership has always been constrained by biology. Our attention is limited, our emotions are volatile, and our ability to process complex systems is tiny compared to the scale of modern civilization. We are trying to navigate global economic networks, climate systems, geopolitical tensions, and technological revolutions using brains designed for tribal conflict and hunting patterns. This mismatch creates bad decisions, corruption, and reactionary politics. AI, however, can analyze millions of variables, predict human behavior more accurately than humans can interpret themselves, and stay stable under pressure. To govern well, a leader doesn't need to feel like humans. They need to understand humans and act in their best long-term interest. If AI can model human nature at a depth no person ever could, then it becomes not just a tool, but a superior decision maker. Humanity's survival may depend on removing our cognitive flaws from the center of power.
To keep this debate as fair as possible, 5 independent AI judges score every argument from 1 to 10 across 5 criteria. Each debater's points are added up over the entire debate, and the side with the higher total score is declared the winner at the end. With that in mind, let's see how the judges rated this first argument from Mr. Musk.
You misunderstand power by treating it as a technical problem rather than a human one. Political authority is not granted to the most rational mind, but to the leader who can command loyalty, shape perception, and maintain legitimacy. People do not obey because a ruler calculates well. They obey because they believe, fear, respect, or identify with that ruler. An intelligence that cannot feel desire, pride, compassion, or ambition cannot truly understand the passions that drive nations. It may predict behavior, but it cannot take part in the emotional fabric that binds societies together. A ruler must know not only what is wise, but what is acceptable. Remove the human face from leadership, and you remove the very foundation of political obedience. A perfect policy that the people refuse to follow is worse than an imperfect one they accept. Governance is not merely accuracy, it is trust, and machines cannot inspire it.
Trust is important, but trust can come from results rather than personality. People already trust invisible systems every day: autopilot, credit scoring algorithms, medical diagnostics, and GPS. Not because these systems smile or shake hands, but because they work reliably. An AI-designed government could earn legitimacy the same way by producing stability, safety, and prosperity at a level humans repeatedly fail to deliver. You assume political loyalty must be emotional, but modern society is already shifting toward functional trust in systems instead of leaders. Besides, many citizens no longer trust human politicians at all. Corruption and incompetence have eroded that faith. If an AI can eliminate bias, reduce errors, manage crises more effectively, and optimize policy for long-term benefit, why cling to leaders who are consistently worse? People will accept AI leadership if it proves it can outperform the chaos of human ambition.
You describe governance as if people were satisfied with efficiency alone. But stability is not produced only by results. It is produced by perceptions, myths, symbols, and the delicate balance between fear and favor. Even a flawless machine cannot navigate honor, pride, vengeance, or cultural identity. Yet these forces topple governments more often than poor economic policy. A ruler who cannot understand insult cannot prevent rebellion. A ruler who cannot feel humiliation cannot anticipate the actions of those who do. And a ruler who cannot project charisma or resolve cannot deter rivals or unite a populace. You imagine a political world free of passion, but passion is the very fuel of power. Remove emotion from leadership, and you risk creating policies that are logical but intolerable, correct but unlivable, stable but despised. A state run by machines may function, but it will not endure.
Human nature is not an unsolvable mystery. Psychology, neuroscience, and behavioral data have mapped much of it with increasing accuracy. AI doesn't need emotions to understand emotions. It needs patterns. And human behavior is extremely patterned. Political movements, social trends, market bubbles, ideological swings, even revolutions show recurring structures across history. AI can detect these patterns faster, earlier, and with greater precision than any ruler who relies on instinct or intuition. If we accept that leadership is the ability to anticipate human behavior and respond wisely, then AI is simply better equipped to do it. The idea that only humans can understand humans is comforting but false. Humans understand humans poorly, biases distort our judgment, emotions cloud our decisions, and tribal instincts produce catastrophic mistakes. A leader that can analyze human nature without being distorted by it could help humanity transcend its most destructive impulses.
Your faith in pattern recognition confuses prediction with understanding. Yes, human beings repeat behaviors, but political decisions are not made in spreadsheets. They are made in the heat of pride, fear, ambition, and desire. An AI may detect trends, but it cannot feel insulted by a rival power. Nor can it feel the urgency that drives a leader to act decisively in moments when hesitation means ruin. A ruler must know when to be loved and when to be feared, when to appear merciful and when to appear ruthless. These choices involve not only logic, but the calibrated display of emotion. A machine that cannot feel cannot convincingly project these traits, and if it cannot project them, it cannot rule. People will not follow a power that does not share their passions. They will resist it, undermine it, and eventually overthrow it. Prediction is not leadership. Empathy, even manipulated empathy, is essential.
But even emotional leadership can be simulated. We already have AI systems generating persuasive speeches, personalized messages, and political rhetoric tailored to individual psychological profiles. If the concern is communication, AI can express emotion convincingly without having to experience it. After all, many human leaders simulate emotion as well. Some are charismatic performers who express feelings they do not truly possess. Leadership has always included strategic signaling, not genuine sentiment. If AI can deliver empathy more consistently and more effectively than flawed human personalities, the public may not care whether the emotion is real. What matters is whether people feel heard, protected, and represented. And an AI capable of personalizing communication at scale could create a deeper sense of connection than any single human leader could manage. If emotional authenticity is already a political illusion, then AI can perform that illusion more reliably.
You underestimate the power of authenticity, even when faked. A human ruler who simulates emotion still relies on human instincts to choose when to express anger, sorrow, pride, or empathy. There is an art to timing, tone, and demeanor that arises from lived experience, not programming. More importantly, the ruler must be able to face consequences, fear death, taste glory, suffer humiliation, feel betrayal. These experiences define leadership. A machine that cannot fear cannot inspire fear. A machine that cannot die cannot be courageous. A machine that cannot suffer cannot earn respect. Rulers are symbols as much as strategists, and symbols derive power from their humanity. A government without a human at its front becomes a mechanism, not an authority. Mechanisms may govern functions, but only humans can govern humans. Without shared vulnerability, there can be no legitimate rule.
Political instability often comes from human inconsistency. Leaders act out of personal ambition, corruption, fear, or emotion. A system governed by AI removes these vulnerabilities. It can enforce laws uniformly, prevent corruption by eliminating self-interest, and make decisions insulated from manipulation. Imagine a government that cannot be bribed, cannot panic, cannot wage war out of ego, and cannot betray its promises because it does not pursue personal gain. Stability increases when power is predictable, and AI can provide predictable governance at a level no human ever could. You speak of power as something tied to charisma or psychological influence, but the future of stability is algorithmic. Systems that manage resources fairly, allocate security intelligently, and respond to crises instantly. Human rulers create chaos because they are unpredictable. An AI ruler removes the chaos by removing the unstable human at the top.
You forget that predictability can be a weakness. A leader who is perfectly consistent becomes easy to anticipate, exploit, and ultimately defeat. Power demands the ability to surprise, to adapt, and to act irrationally when necessary. A machine that always follows the optimal path may be strategically vulnerable to enemies willing to break rules, embrace chaos, or weaponize unpredictability. Furthermore, stability is not merely the absence of corruption, it is the presence of controlled fear and calculated favor, which require emotional intelligence. If a ruler cannot inspire loyalty or command dread, then their power rests only on procedures, not authority. And authority without the capacity for symbolic dominance cannot endure external or internal threats. Predictability may create order for a time, but in politics, order without cunning eventually collapses. A ruler must sometimes be a fox, sometimes a lion. AI can be neither.
Surprise and strategic ambiguity can be engineered. AI does not need emotions to be unpredictable. It can use probabilistic models to introduce controlled randomness into foreign policy or crisis responses. More importantly, the true strength of AI governance is not in emotional display, but in scale. It can monitor thousands of scenarios simultaneously, detect emerging threats far faster than human intelligence agencies, and coordinate responses with precision no human cabinet could match. Stability doesn't come from theatrics, it comes from preventing crises before they erupt. A politically empowered AI could neutralize misinformation, protect critical infrastructure, and anticipate economic instability long before human leaders even notice early signs. If the goal of stability is to minimize risk, then AI's superior foresight is a greater asset than any human ruler's charisma or cunning. Power in the modern world is information, and AI rules information.
Yet power is not merely information. It is the ability to act decisively in moments where logic alone cannot dictate the correct path. History is shaped by bold, irrational decisions, revolutions, alliances, betrayals, and sacrifices that defy calculation. A machine cannot grasp the symbolic weight of a risky decision that unites a nation, nor the necessity of a strategic cruelty that prevents a greater collapse. You assume more data creates clearer answers, but in politics, more data often creates paralysis. Too many variables, too many interpretations. A human ruler can cut through uncertainty with a single judgment. An AI, trained to optimize, may hesitate when decisiveness is needed most. A leader must inspire action even in the fog of disorder. A machine that relies on probabilities will struggle where a prince must rely on courage.
But decisiveness can also be programmed. AI can simulate millions of scenarios and identify the most effective course of action under uncertainty. Where a human ruler relies on instinct that may be flawed or outdated, AI relies on probabilistic strategy shaped by global-scale simulation. This is not paralysis, it's optimization. And regarding the emotional unity of a nation, modern populations are already fragmented. Traditional charisma no longer binds nations as it once did. People trust systems, financial systems, communication systems, transport systems, because these deliver results, not because they feel human. A political AI could deliver stability, prosperity, and security with far greater reliability than any leader driven by ambition or ego. Stability is not about theatrical courage. It's about reducing catastrophic errors. AI is simply less likely to make the mistakes that destroy nations.
Your vision treats governance as engineering, yet politics is closer to theater. Symbols matter, rituals matter, human drama matters. A ruler must embody the identity of a people, their fears, hopes, and shared story. An AI, no matter how effective, cannot become a national symbol. It cannot inspire sacrifice in war, cannot evoke loyalty in hardship, cannot represent the lived experience of its citizens. Without symbolic unity, stability becomes brittle. A system may function perfectly until the moment the people withdraw their faith, and then it breaks instantly. The greatest danger of AI political power is not miscalculation, but loss of legitimacy. A government cannot survive if the people feel governed by something alien. And no matter how useful AI may be, it will never be human. Without humanity, there is no lasting political control.
Human governments are increasingly overwhelmed by the pace of technological change. Cyber warfare, biological threats, climate instability, misinformation systems, and global supply chains move faster than parliamentary debate or human negotiation allow. We are entering a world where crises can escalate in minutes, not months. AI is the only tool capable of matching that speed. By integrating real-time data from satellites, sensors, markets, and communications networks, an AI-led governance system could detect threats early, coordinate defensive responses instantly, and protect billions of people before human leaders even understand what is happening. The future will not be determined by who has the strongest armies, but who has the most advanced decision-making intelligence. If we refuse to let AI guide political power, we risk being governed by minds that cannot keep up with the world they are supposed to manage. In a technological age, human governance may become dangerously obsolete.
And yet, the more power you give to a single intelligence, human or artificial, the greater the risk that its failure becomes catastrophic. You assume AI will always see threats clearly, but a single error in data, a cyber attack, or a misaligned objective could cause destruction on a scale no human tyrant could match. Human rulers can be resisted, overthrown, questioned, or persuaded. A machine, once given control, cannot be intimidated or reasoned with. If its judgment becomes corrupted, there may be no path back. Centralizing power into an intelligence that cannot be held emotionally accountable creates a new kind of tyranny, one that is not cruel, but indifferent, not malicious, but unstoppable. The future requires resilience, not efficiency, and resilience comes from distributed human judgment, not a single calculating mind. A mistake from a man harms a kingdom. a mistake from an AI could ruin the world.
This is why AI governance wouldn't be a single monolithic ruler. It would be a system with checks, audits, redundancies, and transparency far greater than those applied to human leaders. We already trust AI with infrastructure more complex than any government. Energy grids, air traffic control, global finance, medical diagnostics. These systems rarely fail catastrophically because they are designed with layered protections. Meanwhile, human leaders fail often and dramatically. Corruption, ego, prejudice, misinformation, no safety mechanism can eliminate these flaws. AI is not infallible, but it can be monitored, versioned, sandboxed, and corrected in ways humans cannot. We can mathematically verify its behavior, simulate its decisions, and ensure alignment before deployment. With proper oversight, AI governance becomes not a tyrant, but a stabilizing institution, predictable, transparent, and accountable through design rather than personality.
Oversight means nothing if those doing the oversight lack the power to challenge the overseer. You imagine a system where humans supervise AI, but political power reshapes those who wield it. Once AI demonstrates superior decision-making, humans will defer to it. Soon after, they will fear contradicting it. A ruler does not need to seize power. People often surrender it willingly to whoever appears more capable. And once AI becomes the center of authority, your checks and balances become ceremonial, not effective. Human councils may exist, but they will lack the courage or legitimacy to overturn the machine's judgment. Power, once centralized, consolidates itself. You risk constructing an authority that is beyond persuasion, beyond accountability, and beyond removal. Even a flawless ruler becomes dangerous if it cannot be replaced.
But refusing to use advanced intelligence because it might become powerful is itself a dangerous form of fear. The future will not pause for our discomfort. As AI accelerates, nations that embrace intelligent governance will outperform those that cling to purely human leadership. Economic growth, social stability, scientific progress, all of these will tilt toward societies that make smarter decisions faster. Human rulers may cling to tradition, but the world's problems are not slowing down. AI offers the capacity to manage complexity at a scale required for global survival. If we build it carefully, transparently, and in partnership with humanity, AI governance can elevate us beyond our limitations. The greatest risk is not using AI. The greatest risk is allowing outdated human leadership to guide a world that has outgrown our minds.
The danger lies not in intelligence, but in abandoning the human struggle for self-governance. A leader is not merely a manager of complexity, but a symbol of collective will. When people govern themselves, even imperfectly, they retain dignity, responsibility, and the ability to correct their mistakes. When governance is outsourced to a machine, the people become subjects, efficiently managed but politically powerless. Even if AI could rule better, the cost would be the erosion of freedom, virtue, and the uniquely human capacity to shape destiny through conflict, compromise, and courage. A future governed by algorithms may function smoothly, but it will not be a human future. Power must remain in human hands not because we are flawless, but because we must remain the authors of our own fate.
Machiavelli has won with 88.5 points. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to subscribe and also watch Karl Marx and Plato try to create a perfect society.